Welcome back to the Blackness. I'm Brooks.
And I'm Hendrix.
I thought I'd add that in there,
Yeah, the Blackness.
All right, so today we have a special guest, Lashawn. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
doing really good. I'm excited to be here. Excited to be on the show. I'm very ready to get it started.
Glad to have you too.
Yeah, it's
Thank
good to
you.
have you
Coming
here.
on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I am originally from Long Island, New York.
Okay.
I've been living down here for a couple of years now, about 20 plus years. Yeah.
Do you like it
Do I like South Carolina?
as opposed to like New York?
I like New York better. But I've gotten adjusted to South Carolina. You know, when you live somewhere for a while, it's like, okay, I'm used to this now.
What brought you here to South Carolina?
My dad, his job relocated.
Okay.
So we came down here because he relocated to the South, and then also he was a pastor,
Okay.
and he started a church down here.
What church is that?
At the time, it was Words of Life Deliverance.
Oh, I wonder if I heard of it. Okay. You say you're from Long Island?
Yep.
What part?
Hempstead.
I heard him say. I had some family that was in Freeport.
Okay.
Then I had an aunt. She passed. I think she was in Baldwin Hills. I think. It's Baldwin
Okay.
Hills. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with. Yeah. So,
Okay.
I've never been to Long Island though, but yeah.
You should go. It's a
should
nice
go?
place to be.
It's the suburbs, right?
Yes.
A lot of Italians,
Italians,
some Jews.
Jews, blacks. It's a mix.
A mixture of people.
mixture of
Mixture of
Yeah.
people.
You know,
Cool.
I saw something a while ago on social media where they had black families moving to Long Island, and it was like maybe it might have been the '60s or something, and the whites were protesting. They didn't want the black. They was marching, get out of here.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that on social media and how they were like they didn't want the blacks moving in there. They think their neighborhoods was gonna go down, and they're saying that's why they moved way out there to get away from the black people and everything. That I saw that. I saw it on social media. I can't remember which. I don't know if I can't remember which page it was, but I saw that a while ago. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so currently I am a licensed practical nurse.
Okay.
I've been working as a nurse for about 8 years. I started out as a certified nurse's assistant, and then I went from there and into becoming a rehab aide. And then after that, I became a nurse. And
Gotcha.
I've been nursing for a while. I'm in management, so if
Okay.
anybody.
Which hospital are you? Or are you at a hospital?
I'm at a long-term care facility.
A long-term care facility?
Mhm.
Which, my mother's a nurse. She's at, you familiar with White Oak Manor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here in
over
Charleston?
there.
Yeah.
In that medical plaza?
Yes.
Over there by Trident?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know White Oak.
You know White Oak? you heard good things or bad things about White Oak?
A mixture.
A mixture, right?
Yeah. You know, when you're in the medical field, you kind of know people that know people, and you know different
Funny,
facilities.
I think I was telling him one time, I used to work there too.
At White Oak?
Yeah, I was a doctor. No, I'm just playing.
I'm like,
No.
I never worked there, but I know of the facility.
I actually worked in dietary, but what I did was I put, the elderly people, they got certain like Lucerna and
Yes, yeah.
and they can only eat, some people got puree. When they would put everything on the carts, I had to push everything on the units. I used to push it on the units.
Okay,
For
so
them and stuff like that, yeah.
so sounds like you were a dietary aide.
Yeah, that's it. You reduce my title. That's what you do, reduce it. Dang, I said I was a doctor. Dang. Yeah, you a doctor. Yeah, you were serving food. But yeah, that's, you're right. That's I was a doctor. Before I went in the military, though, my mother hooked me up with that job. So, yeah.
What kind of drew you to becoming a nurse?
Well, I always had a care for people. I've always liked to help others. So, I mean, that's why I started out in healthcare, period. And then, working as a CNA, it has some advantages because you have that one-on-one care with residents, and you're caring for them, but then after a while it can be a strain on your body, lifting people, and
Yeah.
after a while
Yeah.
it's like you want more for yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
I've always enjoyed working with people, helping people, but it was like I want more. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, time to do something different. So then I went out for my nursing degree.
Got you.
Yep.
Do they have I know a few I had a few female friends that were RNs, and they travel. Do they have that for LPNs as well?
Yes.
Travel as well. Was that anything you ever was interested in doing or no?
Actually, it's something that I'm interested in now.
Okay.
I've been kind of looking into it as
Yeah.
well. I'm looking into like other areas in my
Mm-hmm.
career.
Mm-hmm.
I've been, like I told you, I've been doing management, and
Yeah.
it has its pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you just want to see things differently, different parts of your career. So, yes, that's something I want to
Yeah.
do.
Because I heard they make bank when they
They
travel.
do.
They make bank. They
They
make
do.
bank. Yeah.
Yep.
Plus, my mother wanted all her kids to go into medical.
Hmm.
Like I was pre-med. No, this time I'm serious for pharmaceutical, but for whatever reason, I didn't get in. That's a long story though, dealing with the VA and stuff like that. So I didn't get into that program. So then I changed over to film, right? But one thing my mother said, medical jobs are recession proof. You always got to work.
Ex-
Yeah.
They were first line responders when we had the pandemic. You know how much free food my mother got, man? She said, "Hey, go to Krispy Kreme. They giving show her badge. They was
Yes.
giving free donut, man.
Nice.
Olive Garden brought them free food every day because she had to get tested constantly. You know what I
Right.
mean? But
Yeah.
I think I caught COVID. I don't think my mother never caught COVID. Of
Hmm.
course, I wasn't around her a lot like that, but she never caught it. But she got so much free food. She hit me up, hey, or bring me some food or something like
Right.
that or whatever. Man, they got so much free stuff, man. What first responders, right?
Right.
Sam, did you get those same perks too as well?
Oh yeah. Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't blame you. Take advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, we got free food. People would come and bring us food. I
Hmm.
mean, it just showed you, like I said earlier, when you have a care for people,
Right.
people care for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they know that you love them, they show that same love
Hmm.
back.
Hmm. But I'm sure
Nice.
it was also stressful too, wasn't it? A lot of long hours.
Very stressful.
Yeah, 'cause some of them were on call. Like my mother had to work all the time, and they lost a few residents.
Mhm.
I guess she's just not so much. Dealing with the elderly, with the geriatric. So I guess
Mhm.
that's going to happen. But you said you were in a facility care when you.
Yeah,
uh,
I was working in long-term care. You're talking about
Oh, okay, it
during
was long term.
COVID?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, at that time I was working at an actually not a long-term care facility. With COVID, I was at an assisted living
Oh, okay,
facility,
Mm.
okay.
and yeah, we had it rough when COVID hit.
Mm,
At that time during my nursing career, I actually thought twice about being a nurse.
really?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was long hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was working around the clock, and it was like, when am I gonna get a break?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
you work to go home to rest, but at that time I was also managing, so I
Mm-hmm.
never really did rest.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
After I left work, I was still on call, so I
Yeah.
was still working,
Mm-hmm.
but not in the building.
Right.
And so it was very stressful, and I thought
Think
twice
twice.
about being a nurse. I
Yeah.
was like, well, maybe there's something else for me to do
Mm-hmm.
because this is hard,
Yeah.
and you're away from your family for long periods of a time.
Mm-hmm.
And even though my child's older, it was like I would come home, get in the bed, get up, do it all over again.
Yeah, yeah.
I see her for like a few minutes, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
like back to square
Yeah.
one. And you when you're in healthcare, sorry, when you're in healthcare, you should have a work life balance.
Mm-hmm.
And that at that time, that was something I did not have, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
very hard and very
yeah.
straining. And I really did think about doing something totally different from
Right.
healthcare, nursing, everything, because it took a toll on me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And trust me, you're not the only person in medical who thought like that. You know,
Hmm.
a lot of them thought like that, and then you become close with some patients, and then they
Right.
pass, and their family can't see them and things like that.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's a lot on your mental, in
It
your mental
is.
space.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I would say it takes a special person to teach, and it takes a special person to do medical care for somebody. You know what I
Right.
mean?
For sure.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Patience, and you have to be able to stomach. In medical, you got to be able to stomach a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So yeah, it always take a special person to do that. Do those two things. I believe, and sometimes military too, depending on what you're doing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What is it like now? Is it a little bit better? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people are like still feel like holdovers from the pandemic.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And I mean, even though we're out of it now, things feel so weird in the world now. It's a little bit different. A lot of people feel like, they basically lost a few years,
Mhm.
of their life. And, I mean, I know for me, like, especially like age wise, I'm like, man, I basically lost 3 years.
Hmm.
I still feel like I'm,
Mm.
26, So like, um, how is it now, like, with all, us coming out of the pandemic for you?
As far as in healthcare, like
Mhm.
working as a nurse,
Yeah.
I would say it's gotten better. Far as because with COVID during that time, it was a lot of working around the clock, and then like he was saying,
Mm.
you have a lot of residents getting sick, and you're losing a lot of people. Like when COVID first hit, it was like people were dying and dropping like flies, like
Yeah.
back to back to back. So you're steady going, 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 and trying to help these people, do the best that you can with what limited resources you have, but you're just trying to keep that person alive. And, once they started, coming out with the vaccine and being able to help people, stay around a little longer, if I would
Mhm.
say, it made things a little bit easier. You kind of would have people get the vaccine, and they would, if they did get COVID, their immune systems would be able to bounce back, and you weren't losing as many people. And then, you know, the staff wasn't getting sick like how we were
Mhm.
getting sick when it first hit. So it has gotten better thanks to the government, I will
Mhm.
say, putting in those programs in place. But I would say healthcare overall is still hard,
Still hard.
Yeah.
Still headache.
Um, you know, I would say, if you find other ways to, take your career in other areas, I would suggest it. I mean,
Oh,
I'm to the point where,
yeah. Wow. Okay.
I'm to the point where it's like I want more in my career.
Mhm.
I've seen, bedside nursing. I've done that. I don't mind it. I love my job,
Mhm.
but it's just like, when you get to a certain point in your life, you kind of want to do different things and
Yes.
Mm.
take it to a different level. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Mm. It's definitely not for the faint of heart, right?
Right.
Definitely not. Wow. So you really thinking about going on a different level other than healthcare? Okay. So you kind of burnt out on it. You've seen so much, takes a toll on you.
I mean, I'm not saying that I want to just totally
Mhm.
do away with healthcare and do
Mhm.
away with my nursing career, but I just want to take my nursing career into another area.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Got
Hmm.
you. Yeah.
Like you was talking about the travel nursing,
Okay. Okay.
doing a different side of nursing.
Got you. Got you.
Um,
Yeah.
and another area that I would like to go into is entrepreneurship. I'm
Okay.
sorry,
Okay.
entrepreneurship.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
Yeah.
Would you like to, like, mainly, like, would you like create your own like private practice type deal, or?
Um, I would like to do healthcare staffing,
Okay.
an
Oh.
agency.
Got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, because statistically the fastest growing entrepreneur are black women. Y'all out here balling.
Yes.
And she look like she balling right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, entrepreneurship is
Oh,
my
Okay.
okay.
next step.
Okay. You know, I wanna go back to real quick. My mother told me about, maybe I was talking to her maybe about 2 days ago. She said something, I wonder if you heard, about there may be another pandemic coming. Did you hear anything about that?
Kind of, but I try to not listen to that because I
Yeah,
don't want it
because
to
Yeah,
she
happen.
was saying
You
that
know.
she
right.
heard another strand of something. Did you hear something about that as well?
I heard, yeah, there was something about, I think like in Ohio, there was something,
Some
some
other
kind of
cases?
outbreak or
Mhm.
something. But
I
that was,
mean,
I feel like that was like a month and a half ago. So I don't know.
no,
I do know this. I mean, I feel like there's always something going on, right?
yeah,
I mean,
Exactly.
even it's funny to like, not funny, but it's like interesting to see how much people talked about a pandemic possibly happening before the pandemic
actually
actually
happened.
happened.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I mean, even like that movie Contagion basically
Mm-hmm.
predicted COVID,
Yeah.
So it was, I feel
This
like a lot of people are always
The
talking about it.
Simpsons. The Simpsons
Yeah.
predict
Well,
a
the
lot.
Simpsons predict everything.
Everything. Yeah.
They predicted Donald Trump was
I
going to be
know.
Exactly.
president.
Right
Yep.
down to the
Yep.
escalator, him coming down the escalator.
Everything
It
they
was
predict.
perfect. Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
but
but yeah, she mentioned that, man, and I figured her being in medical, I guess she looks out or listen, everything. So I was like, man, but I would think that I don't think, well, I can't even say that. Well, my opinion, if that do happen, I think they would be, or I should ask you, you're the professional. Do you think they would be better prepared now, being that they already went through that? I think they would be better prepared. I mean, what do you think?
I think they would be
Yeah.
better prepared, being that we've been through
Right, right,
something like
right.
this
Yeah, yeah.
already. But you never know
True,
what
true,
you're
true.
gonna get till it actually hits.
Till it
Because
actually hits.
we know what COVID looked like, but we don't know what this new strand
Yeah.
of
mhm.
whatever it is that's
Right,
coming
right.
out. So you don't even know how it would affect
Mm-hmm,
people.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think we are better prepared
Better prepared.
now because we
Yeah,
went through
yeah.
that before.
So it's safe to say there will be some fatalities, but hopefully not as
As
much
much.
as it was, you know, uh, you know,
I would
and
hope.
yeah,
I mean, I can't say because I'm
yeah.
not, a scientist or anything,
Right, right.
but
Yeah.
I would hope that
Mm-hmm,
it wouldn't
mm-hmm.
be as bad
Yeah, yeah.
because it was pretty bad first go around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a tough
Real
time.
bad. It
Definitely a
was, the
tough
earth
time.
stood still. It looked
Yeah,
like I Am Legend outside.
Oh yeah,
You saw all the animals come out, and they
yeah,
was walking around the streets in the city because
right.
no humans were. I was like,
yeah.
it's like, man,
I think when we start to tell the story of what all happened, people won't believe us
I
because
know.
Right.
it was kind of wild, and it happened really
Yeah.
fast. And you know, a lot of people, to their credit, were just like, okay, this is what we're gonna have to do,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, I mean,
I mean, because think about it. In school, back, remember they told you like hundreds of years ago, people got wiped out because of yellow fever and this,
Right.
yeah,
and smallpox. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a pandemic that they couldn't deal with. Eventually,
the Spanish flu,
the Spanish flu, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, what happened with that is because you didn't have the medical knowledge as as you have now,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think eventually, after a while, the people died out. Your immune system just had to eventually adapt.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And learn how to fight these things off. So, like you said, years from now, they'll probably look back on us like, man, these people had a pandemic.
Right.
yeah,
And I find it fascinating. I think about my life. I said, man, I lived through, because of course you probably, I don't know if you've been in earthquakes or whatever. I've never been in an earthquake because you from
yeah.
California.
We've been in earthquakes
Okay.
before, yeah.
So, and you came in South Carolina. What year you came here?
I believe it was 94.
Okay, so you weren't here when I was here. So
Yeah.
I lived through a Category 5 hurricane,
Mm.
and some of y'all ain't never been
Wow.
through. And you talking about the hurricane was bigger than the whole state of South Carolina.
That's Hugo,
Mm.
right?
Hurricane Hugo, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it did $1 billion worth of damage, and the
yeah,
eye went directly over. Like you can go out in the street and it's like how it is right now. It was a beautiful day beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
and at night it just is like, man, trains just constantly running. You got almost 200 mile an hour winds, or however. I thought it was
Mm,
stronger than that.
Yeah.
I seen trailers and houses literally moved, trailers flipped over. So imagine a tornado. Imagine about 6 or 7 tornadoes all in a line
wow.
going down this. So I lived through that first black president and a pandemic. So I just go back looking at these milestones that I actually lived through.
Right.
God willing, I get older, I can tell my grandkids, what I've been through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my lifetime, which I never thought. I guess no one ever think they would go through these things.
Mhm.
But that's life. These things happen. Yeah.
For
You
sure.
could write a book.
Absolutely.
I should have been doing film back then. I could have
Yeah.
had a nice movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you talked earlier about how you were trying to like balance during like uh, the pandemic, like balance your work and life at the same time. Do you feel like you've gotten to a point where that's getting better, or is it still like a thing?
It's still like a thing.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm a straightforward person.
Yeah.
I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
I still have to learn to, you know, walk away. And when I say that, meaning not just walk away from the job or anything, but just, when it's time to leave, learn how to leave and go home. But that's the
Mm.
caring aspect in me. I want to make sure that the patient's good. I
Yeah.
want to make sure that I get all this done. But then, you need to not stay so late at work and get home and spend time with your family.
Yeah.
So that's something that I did say this year I would do better at and try to work at doing that balance, making sure that I can separate the two.
Yeah. I mean, caring for yourself is like a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of people sometimes, you can neglect that. Um, I'm very much like a workaholic. And
Right,
so
right.
like I'm always like into my work, and I don't spend enough time just like, working on myself and working on like my mental health
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So I know that it can be tough, trying to like balance work and life and, do both, but also like caring for people, but, not too much that you
Right.
don't, look out for you,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's definitely understandable.
Yeah, and that's important, especially when you're caring for other people. It's good to take care of them and making sure that they're good, but then you have to take time for yourself, because if you don't take time for you, how can you give those services to someone else? So
Exactly.
you need to take care of yourself. And that is something that I said I would do better this year on, and work, harder at taking care of myself. Hmm.
Yeah. What's crazy is, we're living in one of the loneliest societies that there's ever been. A lot of people are, kind of, they split themselves off away from people, and they don't really, find community and, you know, don't seek out like opportunities to, you know, um, work on themselves and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
um, I think there are there is more awareness about that.
Hmm.
But we are in like a loneliness epidemic, basically. What do you guys think about that?
You know,
You and
well, 'cause I'm sort of a loner, but I've been like that way before social media.
hmm
Sometimes I'll have companionship, you hang with family, friends, and sometimes I find myself by myself. I guess for me, that's my solace. Sometimes I can think like even as far as going to the movies, I don't mind going by myself because sometimes
hmm
people talk in the movie and I'm trying to,
Right.
and then I can go with people as well. So it doesn't really bother me. But I think in today society, I think that loneliness comes from the social media. That's my take. I think that's where that stems from. People so social media driven, because they would rather text than hear an actual human's voice,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
And texting is all right just to convey a simple message, but not to have a whole dialogue. And I've seen people who do that. You know, I would say if I meet a female and she just want to text me for hours, I'm like, I don't think I'm the one for you. You know, I just,
Right.
yeah. Eventually, you got to talk sometime.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You want to know my take on
Yeah.
social media?
Yeah, what's your take on social media?
I think social media has made us antisocial.
Mm.
Think about it. You're on your phone, you're texting, you're putting up pictures, but when you go out, and I'm gonna bring an example that happened to me the other day. I went out to a restaurant, was eating. I saw a couple. They must have been on a lunch date or whatever, and the whole time they were on their phones. Like if y'all together, supposed to be eating and enjoying each other's time, interact with each other. And it was like there was no social interaction, no conversation. Both of them were on their phones. I mean, if that was the case, you could have stayed home, and been, instead
Right.
of coming out and getting something to eat together. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like social media has made people antisocial, where they're more concerned of how they look
Yes.
on, in a picture and how many likes they get. But then when they're in public, they can't hold a conversation or talk about real issues, and feeding off of what you said, a lot of times people they don't socialize anymore. They don't sit at the table. Like, think about it. When was the last time that you actually sit with your family at a dinner table, and just sat down and had conversation and ate together?
Yeah.
That's not common now.
Yeah.
I mean, people still do it, but I mean, it's just not very common now.
Right.
People are so into Instagram and Facebook and what's the other one? Snapchat and all those
TikTok.
things. TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok is the big thing
The
now.
big thing, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, when do we actually sit down and talk to one another and say, "Hey, how was your day? How did what's going on in your mind? Did you have a good day?" I mean, we don't talk like that. And then we'll text and but that's still not having socialization.
Right.
And I think socialization is very important for your mental health.
Yeah.
Getting back to COVID, a lot of people were separated from their families and they couldn't socialize and being around them. So that affected their mental health. And some people got very depressed and they were sad. I can't see my family members. I can't see my loved ones. And, some of them even pass, so that affects people a lot. So your mental health is very important.
Yeah. Do you think it's good for, like, say, a family or even individual or a couple to kind of maybe set a time aside maybe once a month or a day out of the month to just go off the grid, like no social media?
Yes.
Like some families may go camping
Mhm.
because you don't have, even though now the cabins got electricity, but if you actually go, it's an actual campground where you can pitch a tent and just take all the cell phones, tablets, the gaming
Yes.
consoles, and I think that's healthy for you
Yes,
to
I
do
think
that.
that is very healthy for your mental health.
Yeah.
I think so. I think we need to get back to having conversations. We need to get back to, spending time with each other. I think that's very important for your mental health. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes what I do, because I'm on my phone all the time, I'll leave my phone in a whole nother room, or I'll just turn it completely off just so that I can have some time just to be away from that.
Yeah.
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 That's really good. That's
It
really
is.
good. I know I'm kind of glued to my phone.
That's hard for some people
And
to do that.
yeah, it is
It's
hard.
very hard.
And yeah, I do a lot of scrolling. I do a
Right.
lot of scrolling, especially on TikTok. I could be on there.
See?
If I don't limit myself, like
Right.
I will be on there for hours,
He's a millennial.
So I don't even watch TV no more. TikTok is my new TV, So
I noticed that.
but speaking on what you guys were talking about with the social interaction, I've found that it's really hard to like socially, interact with people nowadays, just because, when I do put my phone down, like if I'm standing in a line at a checkout and I don't have my phone in my hand, I feel like the odd one out. Because I look around, everybody's got their phone in their
Phone,
hand.
yep.
And and you sometimes I'll get looks like people are like, oh, he doesn't have his phone in his hand, like he must be a weirdo kind of looks, you know what I mean? Like that's how I feel now, I mean, even like if you're going for a walk, people, I feel like people like, are like this or, have their headphones in, the interaction is totally different
Yeah.
for a lot of people. And so,
Yeah.
I always feel like the odd one
Odd one
out.
out.
Even though, I probably don't use my phone as much as everybody else does, like
Right.
some of the younger generation that are coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
If I know exactly what you mean. Like even if you're in a, like you said, a line, doctor's office, post office, I think people use that as a way not to engage with other people.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
granted, you don't
But
want
that used to be like the thing. Like I feel
What?
like a lot of people used to talk to each other.
That's what I'm saying.
When you were inside of
When you're inside, so
Yeah.
the
now
checkout
you could just be
line.
like this.
Yeah.
Like somebody could, oh, excuse me, you just be,
Right.
and some people, and I've even did this, right? And I see guys, but I definitely see a lot of females. And I'm not trying to be nosy. Sometimes I'll even peek, she ain't even looking at nothing. just, and I've known females who even said that, man, when I see a group of guys, I just act like I'm on my phone so they don't, and they ain't looking at nothing. They just sitting there, just so you can keep your head down, so you don't have to engage or interact with nobody. And
Yeah.
granted, you don't have to give them your whole life story. Sometimes, hey, how you doing? Nice weather. Those
Yeah.
little simple,
Right.
Small
cliche
talk.
line. Yeah, exactly. How's the weather? Or sports or
Yeah.
something neutral. But I think
Yeah.
people try not to engage. I mean, granted, and people are crazy nowadays too.
Exactly.
So, but I mean, I also get that. But yeah, you're right. Everybody's on their phone. Even if you go in the club,
Yeah.
even if they're not dancing, they got a drink, and they pulling their phone. They're just on their phone. Oh, they doing this.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I'm like,
Everybody now that everybody has a phone, I mean a camera, so
Yeah.
easily they just do this
They just do this
all
with their
the
phone.
time,
Yeah, all
So
the time. So, tell me what you said about false therapy. What's your thoughts on, uh, seeking therapy? Because some people, they would say some people would seek therapy who just because they would talk with a therapist, right? That not necessarily saying something's actually going on with them, but they just want their mental to be in that right space. So, what's your thoughts on far as therapy? A person just talking to that was like a taboo in the Black
Right.
community, right? So, what's your take on that?
I think therapy is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was talking earlier about mental health and
Mhm.
socialization, all that. Therapy is good, and I think we as Black people need to embrace it more because I feel like it would be less of us going out committing suicide or killing each other because
Mhm.
you don't know what that person's mental state is.
Right.
yeah.
And I feel like sometimes if they got the help that they needed, maybe it would not push them to the point that it pushed them to, whether it
Mhm.
be them going into depression or wanting to take their life or actually
Right.
taking their life. I
Yeah.
feel like therapy is a good thing for them to do. Um, our community kind of pushes it down and make
Mhm.
light of the situation and be like, "Oh, you crazy,"
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't feel like you should do that because you don't know how that person is actually feeling on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And coming from working in healthcare again,
Right.
um, I see all aspects of that.
Mhm.
So we don't take it lightly when a person says they want to commit suicide. We
Yeah,
actually
definitely.
go full force. We're getting we're calling 911. We're getting a doctor involved. Like it's no games.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they could be very well just saying that, but
But
we don't
still,
take
yeah,
it
yeah.
lightly. And I think that we should all embrace, taking care of our mental health.
Yeah.
It's important because I mean, we go through a lot in life, and you need some kind of outlet to
Mm-hmm.
let
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
your feelings and
Absolutely.
things go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Someone to talk to.
And y'all do recommendations for people who wants to seek therapists or
Um, Yeah, we'll refer, like the
Refer.
doctor will make a
Oh, okay, the
referral
doctor
to
refer.
like a psych doctor
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
to follow up with
yeah. Because
patient with mental
I
illness.
do know about that old school, that black mentality. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
go into church. My mother even said like therapy. Well, I'm gonna pay somebody. I can go talk to God for free, right? And so I did a documentary with this guy. It's called The Counselor, right? And we went around and filmed some of his case studies. It
Mm-hmm.
was a little kid. We went into the family home, and they had to, of course, they had to sign the waiver and everything. And then one kid, we went to the school. I think it was Meminger downtown. And did we? Oh, I don't know if we could. I don't think the kid didn't show up to school or whatever.
Right.
And then another one, we met up at the library. Two, and we shot in the library in Walterboro. But one kid, because he had white, black, Hispanic, and then we did another one in the library downtown, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know with one kid at their home, kids acting out and whatnot. Then there's another one with the Hispanic kid, and I was like, we was sitting there filming, and we was like, man, why is this kid in like therapy? It sounds like everything working out for him. So then when we was packing up, he excused himself, so he went because his mother was out waiting. Then he
Mm-hmm.
came back and told us, yeah, man, I know the little boy lied, but everything he said he did good. His mom went and told him the truth. He said, yeah. That's why he
Oh
lied,
wow.
but everything say he doing this and doing that. And then it was one lady that you can clearly tell some things was going on with her and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. Because she would constantly call the police,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and they would keep coming out. And then she would say she always heard noise. And then it got to and I think how they realized something was wrong because she started calling the police, say they making noise. They said, ma'am, the place has been vacant for over, you know. So, as different things. But also they were saying like being black in America, they would say almost every black person need therapy from Stockholm syndrome, from what we went through, how we
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
been
exactly.
traumatized,
That's
traumatized. You know what I
Right.
mean? They say almost we almost need it more than white people, but they're the ones who seek the therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's stigmatized in
it's
our
because
communities.
they don't have that stigma.
They don't have that
Right.
stigma.
How do we break down the stigma of like going and seeking out therapy? Because I feel like I did go through a stint of going to a therapist, and it was
Okay.
good. I just haven't had a chance to get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I think especially in our community, a lot of people are like, "You're going to therapy?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like you're going and sitting down and talking to somebody
Mm-hmm.
about like your problems and stuff."
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you guys think we could do to like break down some of those stigmas? I mean, um, because we do, like you were talking about. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's been passed down trauma,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
passed down, all this stuff passed down to us, and we're dealing with it, and it's not really like on the surface, but it's there with us,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think we could do to break down some of those stigmas?
Bring more awareness to it.
I
You
agree.
know,
I agree.
look at the statistics of how many people, committed suicide because of, not getting the
Mm-hmm.
help that they need. I would say just bring more awareness to the importance of, us as people getting the
Yeah.
help that we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's statistically or more because at one time, uh, it was more white people who commit suicide, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is statistically are there more blacks starting to commit suicide now and more?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I know, and this, like I said, man, social media can be a blessing, it can be a curse.
Yep.
Now they're
Yeah.
saying cyberbullying. At first, I was like, what the heck is that? And now they're saying they bullying online. Like even with our podcast, we'll still get some negative comments in it.
Right.
But I'm wise enough to, not to let things like that infiltrate me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But some kids apparently, and
Right.
maybe even some adults, and and I've heard some things about a few people committing suicide and things like that. And but yeah, I think they definitely need to talk to someone.
Yes.
So you think like even if it's not a therapist, uh but still talk to someone, whether it be a counselor, your
Mm-hmm.
guidance counselor, or a
Or your
pastor,
pastor,
yeah,
spiritual leader,
yeah, someone that they
teacher,
trust,
somebody that they can
they
trust.
can
I feel
trust.
like you always have to have an outlet.
Yeah, I
Mm.
agree. I
You
agree.
know, somebody you have to talk to. I know, like you just brought
Uh,
up earlier about people talking to God.
hmm.
Yes, I do agree. I've been brought up in the church,
Right, right,
talk to God, but then you have to have that physical person
right,
Yeah.
that you
right.
can talk to, that can, talk back to you, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can have a conversation. So
Hmm.
I feel like you have to confide in
You have
somebody
to. Yeah.
and, get your feelings and your expressions off
I
your chest,
yeah, I agree. And who's to say that maybe if I'm dealing with something, God might have sent Brooks to me. He's
Right,
like, I
exactly.
might do something, and he just called me out the blue. I might
Right.
just going, I might going to take my, and he could just easily and say something like that can probably get me off of the edge. And he
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
don't even realize it, but he said, "Man, I don't know why I called you,
Yep.
man."
Yep.
That's
But
why I feel like having a good like community, a lot of times people find community in church,
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
but a
yeah.
lot of times we're not, especially I feel like nowadays a lot of people aren't in church anymore,
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm not.
and so, they lose that community,
Yeah.
of people that they can confide in, that they can talk to, that they can vent to. And it's, and that, I think that's really why a lot of people kind of feel alone. And,
Hmm.
to get to a place where are trying to like unalive yourself, it
Mm-hmm.
just, it kind of shows that you don't have, people that you could trust to talk to.
That's
Right.
true.
And so, it's really sad to see, a lot of people feel that way. What's crazy, I was listening to a statistic about how most people in today's world, when they're asked if they have any close friends, they say no.
Yeah.
And they have like zero close friends, They're like, yeah, well, I have like friends,
Right.
a lot of times it's like through social media or something,
Mm-hmm.
but like close friends, people who like I could count on to like, you know, if I'm in a jam,
Yeah.
they have nothing like that. And it's,
Hmm.
it's kind of crazy to think about it. A lot of times, keeping your circle small can be good, but, I think people,
My circle is small.
yeah, mine is too.
Yeah.
Um, but, I do have those friends that I could call if I'm like in a pinch,
Mhm.
Right.
and so,
Am I one of them?
but it's sad that,
Don't
I
brush
think
over
so.
that
Yeah,
question. You
I
think?
think so.
Oh, he
No,
thinks
I
so.
mean,
Damn, that's messed up.
I won't
Wow.
know until I actually, test that
I
theory out,
I
right?
used to feed this dude. I I had them help me out on my projects when we first was going because he was 19 and
Wow.
we
Yeah,
let him hang out with him and Tegan, and I'd be like, hey,
yeah.
since y'all come on, y'all eat, I got you. Y'all
Right.
order. This cat, he's, yeah, let me get this. And can you add bacon? This cat, I was like, go ahead, man. This
Uh,
Oh goodness.
now he
yeah.
said he thinks so. I guess because I ain't feeding him no more. That's,
I know, man. It's been a while. It's been a while. We gotta get back. But no, I mean, like, what do you think? How can we get people into community? What's like what's some outlets people could go to
Yeah, that's a good
or do?
question.
That's a really good question.
Repeat it one more time.
What's some outlets?
What's some outlets? What's some ways that people can get into community? Because I feel like community is kind of everything.
Yeah,
You got to have people around you.
it is.
There's an evolutionary reason why, being depressed, having those feelings of being depressed and having anxiety is a thing. It's
Hmm.
because, when you get separated from a
Yeah,
tribe,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of meant
that's
that
what
you
I'm
were going to
saying.
get
Right.
eaten, or you were going to die.
Exactly.
Like you couldn't like fend for yourself. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what a lot of people feel, even though, we're
Yeah,
not like it was back then,
yeah.
or whatever. Having those like, thoughts and stuff like that.
No, no, but that's key. What
Yeah.
you said, say that again, because the root of it, what you said is key. People don't understand we are tribal people.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what even in Africa, whether whatever tribe, or if you Hebrew or whatever, they
Right,
were
right.
all tribes, right? Where my lineage stems from. We all are tribal. Only white people are not tribal. They don't come from tribes. Every Native American is
Hmm.
tribal. We are tribal people,
Right.
and we come up in communities. And the proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Mhm.
So that is key. That's good what you said. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to
No,
throw
I
that
was
in
just I
there.
was asking what you guys like think of that. You know?
Far as like community,
About
like
Yeah,
community.
community.
I think we need to have more resources. I feel
Mm,
like and I'm not going to make it a white and black thing, but I do know that our other counterparts have more resources than we do.
Yeah.
And I feel like we should open up more resources. It should be more of us providing resources for our people. Um, and I don't feel like we have a lot of resources. A lot of people don't even know where to go to seek help or
Yeah.
who's out there to help us.
Right.
So I think we got to be more proactive about the resources that are out there and steer people in the right direction.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We got to fall in the gap.
Yeah.
Because some of our people don't even have internet access. So
Exactly.
and definitely in the rural areas,
Yeah.
Mhm.
they don't have access to the outside world. So some of them not social media savvy, I guess,
Right.
per se, like we are, but
Mhm.
definitely the resources. And I agree with you, and just trying to find a way to connect them.
Yeah.
And you can tell them, hey, the therapy is here if you need it. It can be
Mhm.
confidential. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
We're not putting a stigma on you to say that you're crazy, this, that, and the third, but it's here if you need it. So
Right.
anytime, or if you got someone to talk to get that outlet, to release that stress off you before, because it can be. And tell me, I hear it can be cancerous as well, right? With too much stress build up in
Oh
you,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah.
it can trigger
Stress can lead
illnesses.
to sickness,
Mm-hmm.
high blood pressure, heart attack. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean, it goes on and on.
yeah.
So that's why it's important, like we was talking about the mental health part.
Mm-hmm.
You get your mental health right, you wouldn't be dealing with the other things that you have physically going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, we need to bridge that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how like being lonely and is almost like the equivalent of like smoking a pack of like
But
10 cigarettes a day or something like
Wow.
that. I was
really?
like, man, yeah, it's crazy.
Hmm.
But it makes sense because we are like social creatures,
Mm-hmm.
and so you need that interaction. But mental health is something that a lot of people don't really think about. But yeah, it can have, like you said, cancerous
Mm-hmm.
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 type of effects.
Stress. Yeah.
You can put stress on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and most people's cortisol levels are pretty, high. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
and so yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are a little bit afraid to put themselves out there to find a community of
Mm-hmm.
people to
Mm-hmm.
get with. And I mean, and as an adult, it is harder to like make friends, and to,
Yeah.
get with different
That's
people.
true.
And so, I kind of get why we are here, why we're here in this like situation,
Yeah.
but like I said, I do go to church and I am a believer and I kind of grew up in it. You know that.
Right.
Yeah.
PKs.
Oh yeah. Right. Right.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Y'all the worst ones.
Don't say that.
Y'all the worst ones, boy. To my daddy preaching. Come on, bro. They got Bible study. We
there
can
was
study.
there was a reality show that came out a couple of years ago. It was like
Uh-huh.
Preacher's Kids.
I think
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like they was wilding
They
on
would
that
get in
show.
trouble.
I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
man,
Yeah.
I knew some.
yeah,
Well, but do I know some? I
yeah,
knew some preacher kids who were like
Yeah.
And they were deep down holiness. Them boy, they found holiness. Like the females couldn't wear certain things, and
Yeah.
Wow.
and yeah.
But, I do think that, like, these kind of things, being in church, there was something good about it, even though a lot of people don't believe in it, but,
Right.
like, there's something about being with people in a room and
What, like-minded?
praising God. Yeah, like-minded people.
Yeah.
And, like, you're praising God and, and you're learning about the Bible and different things of that nature.
Yeah.
But, a lot of people just feel like that's like an old school way of thinking, old school way of living.
Yeah.
And that's really, I feel like what people are missing, especially like in the Black community. Like, I feel like people used to confide in their preachers,
Right.
Yeah.
and they could tell them pretty much a lot about their life. And, nowadays people don't really have that. So
A lot of
it's
things,
just interesting.
a lot of things are commercialized now, and not saying that things weren't going on. And not every preacher is about money. Not every preacher
Right.
is bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like not every politician is bad. Not every politician is about your money. But you always going to get these, because at the end of the day, you're a preacher, but that's a title. You are a man
Exactly.
or a woman first. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? You have human nature first. You know what I mean? But I think that's a good thing. You're communing, and what does the Bible say? You're evenly yoked, I guess, right? You're on one accord when you're communing with your peers. I think that's a good thing. I guess any comfortable space that you can be with like-minded people, like even like how we here together
Right.
now, you know what I mean? And we all can touch and agree, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think any comfortable space that you can be in, and I think that's good for your mental,
Right.
and you can talk. And I guess at the end of the day, like not being judged, you know what I'm saying? Not being judged, like I don't know, I will slightly disagree. You said as you get older, it's harder to make friends. That's because kids can make friends real easily, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's older. As you get older, you're just more aware. As a child, you're naive. You'll be friends with anybody. You don't know if me and her in the sandbox and we playing kickball. I don't know if she want to steal my candy. She don't know I want to steal it. We're kids, you know what I'm saying? And then we might fight because she pushed me in the dirt, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then next day we might be cool. But as an adult, you're more instinctive of characters. And people say, oh, I just got a vibe off this person.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Then you sit back and you look. I guess you're have more discernment, I guess, as an adult. And I realize that's why I say my circle is small.
Yeah.
I don't have a big circle of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my take. What you think?
I think that's good. You should have a circle, whether it be big or small. Sometimes having a smaller circle is better because you're not dealing with a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people in your business and knowing what's going on. So sometimes smaller is better.
Yeah.
But I feel like, yes, you should have a community, whether it be in the church or just you have a group that meets,
Right.
and, women's group, men's group. Hey, we're going to talk about some issues,
Yeah.
talk about life, talk about politics, whatever
Book
it is.
clubs, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So-
should have some kind
I
of
agree.
outlet. I agree. You have to have
But
outlet.
men don't do that.
Men don't do
Yeah.
that.
Men
But
don't do
That's
that.
what I
women
was
do
kind of
that.
saying. Like,
Men don't do that. No.
I feel like it's
Women will get together
do
and
that.
have groups and book
Travel
clubs
together.
and
You travel together. Y'all go out to eat together.
Yep.
Men, you see a group of men trip, man, that looks sus. Like what? Them boy in the jacuzzi? See they out at a resort or something.
Yeah.
First thing
But there's nothing wrong with
there
that.
isn't. There's, and I'm guilty myself of seeing dudes I know, and he was like, and they went out on a group, I guess a male excursion, I guess, or wherever they went, and they all were in the hot tub like posing, and me and my puppies look like, I don't know, why dude don't ever take his wife with him? We be thinking this, and not saying nothing wrong with it, but I mean, like I said, I'm guilty of that too. I can admit my own faults,
But that's
Right.
why I was saying like it's harder. I feel like as an adult to make friends because you have to like ask people to hang out and like
Yeah.
and sometimes they don't want
and
to.
it's like okay, yeah, they don't want to, but also like it's like, okay, well, where are you gonna hang out? You know,
Right.
I mean, I know for me, that I'll we hang out at like movies. We go to the movies, or we'll go and like go downtown and like drink or whatever. Go to
Yeah,
the bar
yeah.
or whatever. Sporting events. You know,
Mhm.
me and my friends just now we start watching. We just started watching like UFC regularly,
Yeah, yeah.
and so stuff like that. I mean, I think the thing is to get close to what you love and then find a community within that.
Within that, yeah.
So for me, it's like I love movies, I love
Mhm.
film, and so like we go and watch the movies that nobody really cares about, like the Oscar nominated ones. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of like what we do. We go to like the Terrace Theater, which
Mhm.
nobody goes to that theater because it's like a
Nah,
small
nah.
community theater.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But we get together and we discuss films. We hang out, we talk about sports and different things of that nature. But it's hard to like. It
Mhm.
feels weird unless you know somebody really well to be like, oh yeah, let's go to the bar or something,
Yeah, yeah.
or hey, let's go to the movies,
And then a dude gonna
because
think you
that's
hitting on him. What? You wanna
exactly,
go on a date? What?
exactly. That's what I'm
You
saying.
gotta be
So
on one accord.
it is a little bit harder to make
It is.
friends.
Yeah.
Definitely as a man. I don't know how you feel as a woman. Is it harder to make friends?
I don't think it's hard for me. I
Okay.
Really?
mean, I'm a
Well,
people's
not for
person,
you.
so
Okay.
And you're speaking for yourself individually.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm a people's person, so I'll hold a conversation with people just out of the
Yeah.
blue. I don't have to know you, but just I can. The way I do things is I'll cut a little joke, get
Mm.
in a little good, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I
Feel the
got him.
crowd. I agree. I do the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's
So.
I do the same thing when you meet new people.
Mhm.
Because I always find laughter, it calms thing and it takes the edge off. And everybody,
Yeah.
oh, okay, this person cool. But for me, I think it's easier for men to make friends than women. Because I hear how many females you done heard, oh no, I don't got no female friends and I don't run with too many females or women, they always in competition and
Some of them.
Well, now that you
not
say
saying all, but I've
that,
heard women say that. I don't hear men say that, oh, he in competition with me. I don't got no male friends. I only got female friends. I don't really think like that. I hear women say stuff like
yeah, now that you say that, I don't have a whole
that.
lot
See?
of female friends, and I really don't have a lot of male friends either. But I mean, it is sometimes when you do
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of females, it's a competition.
Yeah,
Who looks better? Who can
right.
catch the guy? It's
Exactly. Yeah.
and for me, I'm not in competition.
Right,
I'm gonna
right.
just be me and let
Mm-hmm.
it flow. Whatever
Yeah.
happens, happens. But I don't do things for competition. I just want to get to know you.
Yeah.
If we vibe and we vibing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's it.
You think Chris Rock was right when he said in the stand? He said, "Man, because women hate women, women hate other women." He said, "You can have two females and they'll be cool as thieves till you put a man in between them.
Right.
I got it, and I'll slit that bitch throat to get him." They say women hate women. But I mean, like you said, I heard women say they always in competition. Who looks better? Who this and who that? Or they gonna feel away if the dude always hollering at them and not the other
Mhm.
ones and stuff like that. I've heard. And not saying men won't get jealous to some degree, but
Right.
maybe not as much as women.
Mhm.
But if a man do get jealous, you got
Oh, you
female.
got all that female
You got
energy.
female tendencies. You got female
All that female
Yeah.
tendencies.
energy, man.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
female tendencies.
Right.
Yeah.
Can men and women be friends?
Oh, yes. Speak does therapy. Come on. Preach.
I just had to ask it. It was
Yeah,
out
that's
there.
a good question.
I think men and women can be friends.
Until they smash? What?
No. I think they can be friends if they have a mutual agreement
Mhm.
that this is what it is. We're friends. We're not
Mhm.
going to take it any further than this. If they both are on that same page,
Yeah.
I think you can be friends.
So you saying if one party has an attraction, him or her, then it's impossible for them to be friends? So he
Well,
has attraction, but she just only see him as a friend, right? So you think they can be friends?
it's going to be hard on that person that has the attraction, I feel, because
Yeah.
they're always going to be having motives,
Yes.
behind it
Yeah.
in their head. And,
Yeah.
So I feel like if they are friends, that person that has the interest has to really make sure that they put those feelings on the back burner and not try to, smother that person who's not interested,
Right.
Yeah.
It can work,
It can-
but you have to definitely know your
You
boundaries.
know the boundaries.
Yeah.
I think it's easier for men, and I'll say why, to be friends than women, because we used to get in friend zone. We always get friend zone. You know what I mean?
But I don't think some of y'all understand the friend zone.
True, because you be thinking like maybe there might be an inkling here and there.
The second she break up.
Yeah, or she may be vulnerable
Right,
one
right.
day, and then that might change the dynamic of your friendship. Or she may realize, dang, he working with all that. I should have been with him before. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
There's a hope that would happen.
There's a
But
hope, right?
It doesn't really happen.
but
Right.
I have female friends that I've never crossed that boundary with.
That's what I'm saying. As long as y'all have that mutual agreement
Yes.
and you know that this is what it is, it's just a friendship. Like, I'm quite sure you wouldn't kiss him because y'all are not on. You know what I'm saying? That's not
I
what
don't
it
know
is.
now. This lip saying chat now.
Because that's not,
Yeah.
y'all have that
yeah.
agreement. This is not what it is. So if, between the male and the female, y'all have
Right.
that mutual agreement, like, we're not going to cross those boundaries. We're just cool,
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
can work. I've had male friends.
Yeah. And plus, as I got older, I tried to mature, be more mature, and I was like, man, you can't sleep with all your female friends, all these try to, because I said I want to have some female friends too, because
Yeah.
men are stupid. They don't know everything. A man, you got to learn about a woman from a woman. A man
Right.
can't teach you nothing about a woman the same way a woman got to learn about a man from a man. So I think it's cool to have female friends too, platonic female friends, and don't cross. Or even if you had crossed that boundary, but y'all gotta understand now that okay, yeah, we just cool, and you know what I'm saying, and we good. Yeah.
See, I don't know if that could be a thing.
Oh,
Because I feel like if you guys
If you
already
cross,
did something,
they belong to you. You can't be friends.
no, I just feel like there's always gonna be,
That
Really, in the
thought
back of your
the back
mind.
of your head.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it comes with maturity, man.
And then you slip up one night,
I think. I mean, that's very
That's what
possible.
happens. Yeah.
Like in my past, there's been females that we crossed, but yet we cool,
Right.
and and we haven't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because one thing about me, regardless if we were together and we never were together in the past or whatever, I always have a respect for the women. I never be like, oh, you this, you that. Because at the end of the day, we all human. They a person just like you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all subject to do things.
Right.
And I try not to sit in judgment on anyone when I have faults myself. So all female friends, past, present, future, whatever, I try to be respectful on all levels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever, and not every relationship is the same. Some we may joke around a little bit more, or we can tell a certain joke, and this one we may not be able to tell that joke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or just on whatever level we on, I try to have a respect. And I would feel like they feel the same way about me. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that just come with age and maturity. That's what I think. But he's still a millennial. He said, once you got him, you his.
No.
No, but
I'm
I agree with what you're saying. Like, once you cross that line, you're gonna always have that mental.
So once you feel once you cross that line, you have to sever the whole friendship.
Yeah, because
really?
like think about it, your ex. You've been with your ex, and y'all are no longer together. If y'all were to be friends, you still have that thought.
Yes.
In your mind, like what you were together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, put it like this.
For me, it's a no.
For you, you never. I mean, you necessarily don't forget, but I don't have a thought of, oh man, you know what I mean? Because we had my ex on the podcast, you know,
Okay.
and like we talk from time to time, not all the time or whatever, but you know, I just look at it as we cool, and you know, I don't try to disrespect her in any way. You know, I respect
Mm-hmm.
what she got going on, and likewise. So, and you know, I just keep it like that. You know what I mean? Me personally, I try not to cross no boundaries or anything like that because I do not want to be misleading in any kind of way. You know, but
Have
like,
you ever gotten back together with an ex?
no,
It's good.
no. Have I had some that reach out to me and try to
Have you ever thought about getting
get back
back
with her?
with somebody who is an ex?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I've had
Most
some that
people,
reached out to me, but at that time when you reach out to me, mind you, this is years later. Your life done changed. You might have not had no kids. Now you got 4 kids. You know.
Right,
And
right.
speaking from a
Yeah.
man, you know, men, you know, I'll just be real with you. We kind of look at it like, man, I remember you when you didn't had, you know, you only had 2 kids.
Yeah.
You know, now you got 2 more kids. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
things like. So no, you know, just everything just changed. But I'm always at a different place in my life, and just like they were at a
Yeah,
different
you're
place. in their life.
evolving.
Right.
Yeah,
We're always evolving as
yeah.
people.
But
So
I've had a few that reached out, and but you know, I was just, and I was not disrespectful. I was still cordial. I was still cool, but I just didn't take the bait. You know.
Mm.
Yeah. How about you?
I have, yeah. I've gotten back with one of my exes before, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? What happened? You needed that old thing back?
No, I mean,
It's-
honestly, it just like happened very organically.
Okay.
It was like just, you know, you start hanging out again, and
Mm.
I don't know, like I feel like most of the people that I get with are, you know, I'm very much like friends with them, you know?
Mhm.
And so it was kind of like all of a sudden, oh yeah, we're back together. And so it just happened, it just flowed that way.
Mhm.
I mean, I didn't intend to get back with him, you know? But with her, but yeah, I mean like she we just started hanging out. I mean, we went for lunch, and then next thing you know, like
Y'all were
we're
together.
hanging out,
Oh.
you know,
Mhm.
and then you know, you go and grab a beer or something,
Mhm.
and then, you know, I mean, it just happens. But I don't think that after I don't think you can be personally
Yeah.
friends with somebody who is your ex and not
Mhm.
get back with them eventually, or
Or have
somebody
those
have those
feelings.
feelings towards you, or you have
Yeah.
that towards
Mhm.
them,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. So
It's hard, you know,
yeah.
like she said with no understanding. You know, I just remember, you know what? I think I did get back with an ex one. But then, but hold up.
See?
But does it count? We were only
Oh,
broken up
that's
for.
what I'm saying.
I think we were only broken up for
That's
like
what
a
I'm saying.
week. Does that still
Oh,
count?
that-
Or a couple of
that
days
don't
or
really
something?
Yeah,
like
that
count.
doesn't count.
Doesn't okay, okay.
Y'all
It
just
had-
was taking a
It
break.
had been like a
Yeah.
year, maybe 2 years.
No, that never,
Yeah.
never that, never
Oh
that.
Yeah.
no.
So
Okay. Yeah. I just, you know, I just remember. How about you? Have you ever got back?
I have, and then I
Okay.
realized why they were an ex.
Yeah.
There you go.
Afterward, right?
There you go.
You know what? You know what?
Like, oh yeah, that's why,
That's why.
you're an ex. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's when you kind of go off your feelings and you kick
Mhm.
logic. You know what they call it now? Spin the block. They call that spin the block.
Yeah, I'm not
Spin
the
spinning
block?
no more.
That's the street term. Yeah, you spin the block, meaning you come back to an ex. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not
spin the
spinning.
block. You know, spinning the block. Yeah, but you're right. You realize like why, you know, I did with her. You know what I'm saying? I think I broke up with her 3 times. That third time, I was like,
Dang.
all right, that's a wrap.
3 times.
Yeah, man. You know, women got their ways of getting back at you.
Yeah, I
know,
will
they got
say
their
I did
ways of
not
doing
initiate
little things and
the getting back together.
Yeah.
So
So are you still with your
no,
ex?
no, I'm not.
Oh, that's
No.
over with.
Yeah, that's
How
over.
long did that last?
Us getting back together, it lasted for a while.
oh,
Yeah,
really?
it was probably like 6 months, something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
Maybe if y'all went and got therapy together.
Yeah.
You did.
It
Who
might
knows,
could have
right?
worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, like, I think I always have a problem with like keeping like a regular relationship just because I feel like I'm always working. I'm always doing
I
something.
feel the same
And
way.
so like it's hard to like stop what
To
I'm
be with you.
doing and like try to build something with somebody, I think if I,
Right.
if I had the time, I definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Would you what do you think about, or would you, like, I don't know your situation, but would you say if you were with someone, he said, "Hey, let's go do couple therapy." Not saying, say y'all just start, would you be open to some of it, or what do you think about that? You think that's a good thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because I feel like like I always say, you need that outlet, and you don't know what that person is going through and why you might be having like issues in your relationship, because it might be a childhood
Mm-hmm.
trauma that happened to that person that you're not even
Yeah.
aware that that person has going on,
Right, right.
and they're bringing it into the relationship.
Mm.
And then sometimes you just need that mediator, because y'all are at odds and y'all
Mm-hmm.
can't even hold a conversation because you're arguing, but this man is dealing with something that he's dealt with in his past,
Mm-hmm.
but you're unaware of it.
Right.
And then when you go to the therapy and it's an open discussion, you're like, okay, well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can know how to deal with him, because
Mm-hmm.
maybe I trigger something in him
Right.
to
Mm.
make him react to me that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I do
You
therapy. I am all
for
for it.
therapy. What if okay, in a different scenario, what if you meet a guy and you're going out, you meet him, maybe it's like a month later after going out. I say maybe about that. And maybe about 2 months in, okay, you guys decide y'all going to be together, y'all going to try to see, because you guys say about 3 months in, or maybe I'll say even 4 months in, he just, and everything, because you're knowing each other, you're still in infatuation phase, right?
Hmm.
So he says but after about 4 or 5 months in, hey, you want to go to couples therapy with me? What do you think about that?
Early on.
Yeah, yeah. Because some people are into that now. Some people say they don't won't date. Some women say they won't date you unless if you haven't been to therapy yet.
Yeah,
I've
I've
talked
heard
to
that.
I've
I've
heard,
heard
yeah,
that.
Um,
right, right.
for me, I think I want to give it some more
You want to give it more
time.
time?
Yeah, I don't think at 4 months, because I
Yeah.
mean, like you say, you're still in that infatuation
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
stage,
exactly.
and you're still getting to know each other. I mean, have the fun in the beginning, like couple therapy. I feel like that's something that you do if you're in a committed
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
Mm.
You're talking about marriage, you're talking about doing things together and
Yeah.
building.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like couples therapy, that's right. In that part of your relationship, you should be doing that. But early in the relationship, and you don't even know, because it's kind of sketchy if you're going to be with that person for
Mm-hmm.
longevity.
Right,
It's only
right,
4 months.
right, right.
So I feel like give it some time and see what
And
it comes,
see,
because by the fifth month y'all might be
might
broken
be
up.
true,
True.
true.
Yeah.
It
But
could be over.
but what
So
what if they're like, by us going to this, and what if he says, I can see myself with you, but like you said, you don't know. But
right.
what if he says, but by us going, I want to get ahead of anything, because by me doing this,
Hmm.
this will make me. I already see a future, but this will make me see if we're compatible down the line, long run, or get ahead of anything that may transpire or whatever. What do you think about that?
Now if he's talking like that, I'll be
Hmm.
open
You'd
to
be
it.
open to it?
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because you know, like you're saying, some women say they won't date you unless if you've been to therapy, and then
Right.
some people, like 6 months in, 5 months, they already suggest, hey, let's go to couple therapy together, and like you're still in the infatuation phase.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, when will you know, do something like that, or I guess, or when does
Is
Right.
bring
that?
that up?
Do you think that would be like therapy? Would that be like a requirement for you to be with someone?
It's a
You
deal breaker
think?
for me. No, that's fine.
Yeah. Is that a deal breaker?
For me, therapy.
Therapy.
No, no. Having
Oh,
somebody.
to ask you to go to therapy.
No, having somebody that you're trying to get with, like
Uh-huh.
them having gone
Oh,
through therapy,
oh, okay.
is that like a requirement for you to be with somebody?
It's
If that
not a
makes any sense.
requirement for me.
Oh, okay.
But if it's something that comes along later on while we're dating,
Mhm.
yes, I feel like we should go.
Yeah.
But to say I'm meeting somebody and we're just hanging out and then we're dating for a while, oh, you have to go to therapy. No.
Yeah, some people feel that way, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
I'm not saying nothing wrong with it, you know.
Right.
Like me, I wouldn't it wouldn't be a requirement for me either.
yeah,
But let's say if we're together, it's done 5, 6 years, and things come, then I'll recommend, hey,
Mm-hmm.
and I say this with love,
Right.
because you don't want to trigger somebody.
Yeah.
You trying
yeah.
to say I'm crazy, man?
You
I'm
crazy
crazy.
as hell. You
You
need to
know what
go
I
to
mean?
therapy.
Then I gotta watch sleep with one eye open, But I would say, hey, do
Yeah,
you want to talk to someone? Hell, I'll
Right.
even pay for it. Or do you want me to come with you? You see
Mm-hmm.
what's going on if we can get things back. And granted, I would hope she would do the same thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I won't ask nobody to do what I won't do myself. You know what I mean?
And that's great
Hmm.
because it's a 50-50 thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Is that a deal breaker for you?
What do
If she
no,
say,
I
I
mean, I
like you,
don't,
but I'm crazy.
I mean,
What you could do?
if they crazy,
Didn't you say you had a stalker?
gotta get that
Did you have
therapy.
a
I
stalker?
did, yeah, a long time
Oh,
ago.
wow.
You should have went to therapy with her.
No, hell no. We ain't doing that. Oh.
You
What
gotta-
do you think about the requirements in the dating world? I feel like a lot of people have like their requirements of like, oh, I got to be with somebody who is established, somebody who's like making six figures.
You mean women requirements?
What do you think about like what do you think about some of the women saying that?
I think you should have a standard
Okay.
Yeah.
on what you want in a guy. I have my standards. I want somebody who works at least, gets a paycheck. They don't have to be somebody that's, making six figures, but I'm the type of person I can build with you.
Mm.
You could be coming up trying to get on your feet. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, do I have a long laundry list? No, I just like to be realistic because
Mhm.
you're getting older, you dated a while, nobody's no robot.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
gonna find a flaw in somebody. Everything's not gonna be perfect in that person, but you just gotta know that what you want. For me, I like for a person that I can build with. We can do a lot of things together, as far as like business wise. Um, and somebody that I can really get along with. Like my thing is, it's okay to be able to make the money, but we have to be partners and friends first, and that's important for me. Being able to hold a decent conversation. I don't know about y'all, but
Mhm.
when you dating or meeting people, some people they're the first. Well, for me, I'll say for me, it's like, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you're fine,
I
and then
get
it's
that too.
like,
I get that all the
you get
time.
that all the time
All the
too.
time.
Oh man, and it's like, okay, what's beyond that? Let's let's
Mhm.
let's talk some real stuff. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but they can't hold a conversation, and it's
Yeah.
like, all right, you said I look nice. I said you look nice. All
Mhm.
right, let's talk about some things. Let's talk about life. What you want
Yeah.
for your life. What are you gonna do for your life? And it don't go. Sometimes it don't go beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing is, you got to intrigue me intellectually.
Mhm.
Mm.
I'm like that too. So
Like intellectually, you have to
yeah.
get me here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can't get me here,
Mhm. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a done deal.
Yeah.
you
I
know.
got you.
So
For me, yeah, you got to have conversation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cause you gonna go out, you gonna eat, you gonna talk, you gonna have sex. You can't talk and you eating and you just having sex. I mean, you got to have some conversation, and then you ain't gonna have sex all the time like that anyway. You know what I mean? Who does that? I mean, I know I don't, but you got to have some type of stimulation, some type of conversation. What's
Yeah.
going on with you?
Right.
It got to be more than surface. It got to be more
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
It
surface.
has to be
So
beyond the
and you
surface.
saying so you can date a bus driver?
Mhm.
You can.
So somebody who was making less than you.
You cool
You
with
could.
that?
Oh, okay.
What if he like
I've
say
dated people that
okay?
make less than
So
me.
he's say 60. Because he's making 60,000, he's making less. Oh
Oh, I
damn!
thought you said 60.
No. Oh, age? No, not age. No. My bad. I mean, he's bringing in.
That's
he's,
a hell no.
he's bringing in 60,000, but he's content with
It's
that.
like, no.
You don't want
So
no
wait
worms. If he's making 60,000,
what if he was right
but
at
he's
60?
content.
That's like no, I'm just asking. He's a
Damn.
millionaire.
I
He's
bet-
60 years old.
I,
So you
I don't
won't,
know.
you won't be no sugar baby. Huh? Yeah.
Understandable.
But if he's making 60 and he's content with that,
Right.
he's not, he's advanced high in his career. He's at 60,000. He's content with that, Is then, you eventually you want to do some entrepreneur things, you can still be with him.
Yeah. If I meet a guy and he's making $60,000 a year and he has a good investment plan, he knows what he wants to do with his money, he knows how to manage his money well,
Yeah.
and he pays his bills on time, he's not in debt, why not? He's
Yeah.
got a good head on his
I,
shoulders.
I agree.
Because you got people out there making millions and don't know how to
How
manage
to
their
manage
money.
money.
Yeah.
You got to be able to
It's
manage
true.
your money. Yeah. I agree with that wholeheartedly. You got to be able to manage your money. Even if you're not making a whole lot, you
Mhm.
paying your bills, nothing
Right.
ain't lacking. Yeah, you got to be able to manage your money.
Could you date a woman that's making more than you?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
we're just paying her money. Now.
But women don't.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
it don't bother me dating a woman who make more than I do,
Okay.
because at the end of the day, I'm not looking for her to take care of me.
Yeah.
If I'm bringing in, say, if I'm making 60 and she's making 120, I'm like, I was taking care of myself before I met you. I can continue to do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not looking for her to take care of me. So I'm cool with it. I can date a female who make more. Long as I hope she just don't belittle me.
Right.
Yeah. That's the thing.
I bring home the money. You only, I'll be
There
like,
needs
well,
to be some respect.
yeah,
there.
I'll be like, look, I've been bringing this home when you met me. And
Yeah.
you was fine with it then. And granted, she might have been at maybe 60 or 70, but she did some things to increase her income.
Right.
And that's fine. Hey, and she'd be like, entrepreneur, whatever. Hey, I'll support you and you know what you want to do. I'll encourage you because, my first degree is business, So I'll encourage you and give you some insight. But if I'm content with what I'm doing, now don't have resentment of me down the line, because this is what I was when when you met me, you know what I mean? That's the only issue. But if she don't have an issue with that, I don't mind her making more money than me. She can take me out to eat sometime.
Yeah.
And if she's a good woman, she'll show you how to come up to that level.
Yeah.
Making that
But-
120,000.
Yeah, true. But if I'm content at 60 and we ain't hurting,
Yeah.
if I don't want to do more to do it, who knows? Maybe I might just I might just invest in some stocks on the side
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
something like that. You know what I mean? But hey,
Yeah.
that's what I like. Why can you?
Now, would you date a 6-year-old woman? No, I'm just kidding.
I have. Not just playing.
You got me on that. I was like, what?
But yeah, I mean, I could definitely date somebody who's making more money than me. But I'm very ambitious. I'm a person who's like, I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get the bag.
Mhm.
Like I'm not just here to
Sit
make
still.
60 grand a year
Yeah, I
and just
feel
be
you.
content.
Mhm.
I just feel like I'm meant for more. I feel like my purpose is meant for more. So, for me, yes, I could date somebody who's making more than me, but I'm trying to get it. So,
Yeah, I feel you.
yeah.
I feel you. Like a lot of women want a 6-figure guy.
Mhm.
Like I want to be in 6 figures, but I don't want a woman who wants a 6-figure guy. Cause what
Mm.
happens if my money declines?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Are you gonna be there to help me build, or you just gonna be like, oh,
Mhm.
you're not giving me the lifestyle that I feel I deserve,
Yeah.
Then I know that okay, you was only there because I am a 6-figure guy.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of females now. Well, not a lot. I shouldn't even say that. Some I see on social media, right?
Right.
And they're letting you know up front, like, look, this is what I want. And granted, everybody got a requirement. I'm not knocking you for what you want, but like
Yeah.
you said, that's not realistic. It's a small percentage of
Right.
guys who
Mhm.
making 6 figures, and some of them already married.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
they're single, they got a lot of women because they making six figures.
And you got a
know?
lot of guys who's making the six figures and they have wives, girlfriends,
Exactly.
all,
Exactly.
they got
Exactly.
multiple
Yeah.
women that they can choose from
They can choose
because
from.
they
Yeah.
got the money to do
Because they got the money. And
Yeah.
the women know they got the money. And even if they mind their business, the women still coming.
Yep.
We can keep it on the low. We can keep, you know what I mean? So they make it so accessible and so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was a great podcast.
It was.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I
coming out.
enjoyed. I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I enjoyed.
Yeah.
We enjoyed having you.
Blessed up with her
Yes.
with her fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will definitely come back if y'all invite me.
Yeah,
No doubt.
absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely. We got to do this again.
Do
for
you
sure.
want the community to follow you or anything going on? Your social medias, anything?
Yes, I am on Facebook at Lashawn Anderson. I am on Instagram as Shawnee3014. Yeah.
And you may have some people who hit you up, but some certain health tips. I don't know if you do those things or whatever. I mean, I don't know. On your
I'm
social
working
media.
on it.
You working on
You
it?
tapping in, but I'm
Oh,
working on
okay.
it.
So,
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes. Next time I'll come back with more of my business.
no business.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Entrepreneur.
everything is a process,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Right. And as Black people, mental and physical health, we definitely got to try to fill in the gap as much as we can and
Yes.
give them tips from diabetes
Mhm.
and cancer and
Yeah.
high blood pressure, because we all know someone who had these illnesses. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
And I feel
So,
like
yeah.
Black people are kind of afraid to go to the doctor.
well,
know?
you know why?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we don't do that enough. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's great to have you on and talk
Definitely.
about some of this
Thank
stuff.
you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
So, thank you for joining the Blackness. I'm Brooks.
And I'm Hendrix.
And we'll see you next time.
All right, peace.
Peace.